Aisha T. Hill. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's all about possibility, neuroscience, curiosity, and really healing my way forward. You know, I was deplatformed from a major platform and it really shook my life up. But prior to being deplatformed, I had long COVID, and then I also recently had a stroke, a TIA or a mini stroke. And I had been sitting with, what do I do next? And so, you know, after getting the news from the stroke and seeing multiple providers and doctors and, you know, taking steps to really make sure that I'm well, I decided a lot of my life has to be now about choice making a different choice. And one of the things that helps me remember that is, I remember I had my son, my oldest son. My mom gave me a book by Wayne Dyer. I have to find this book. But I remember the quote that he said, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at start to change. And for so long, I felt that I was not in choice. And here we are at the top of 2026, me emerging with unmasking and talking about neurodivergence to really thinking about and considering choice. What if I just chose? I think there's another quote that says, if you're not choosing, you're not changing. But when I think about choice, I also have to think about change, which takes me to this book by Octavia Butler, The Parable of the Sower. And when you get to the very first chapter, is that all that you touch, you change. All that you change changes you. And the only lasting truth is change, and God is change. From Earth, Sea, the Books of the Living. It's the very first chapter in Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. And I want to think of my life as this life of being in choice and a life of being okay with change, because change is just energy. All of this is just energy. Everything that I've dreamed of and curated these last specific 10, 15 years of my life has been a dream. I've reached the top of a dream, and it's almost like how Will Smith talks about, you know, rock bottom and cliff top, you know, being at the top of the cliff and you're like, what's next? And then you go back to the bottom. And it reminds me of, multiple people say like there's peaks and valleys, right? So what happens when you're in the valley? And for me, it's been like that ancestral remembrance of like, yea, though I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. And so as I'm in this state of my life where it's like being in choice, but trusting change, it's really making me step into more bravery. What does it mean to be brave and courageous and to be okay with starting over? You know, I love the quote that says rock bottom was the foundation that I rebuilt my life, and everything is a cycle. And so understanding astrology now and Uranus being in Taurus, and like the last 8 years were to get me to that peak. And now here I am, and just being grateful for the power of choice, the power to change my mind, and the power to know that anything is possible. I just have to make a different choice. I just have to decide. And so whether I'm thinking about manifestation, law of delusion, it's all about choice and change. And it all starts in here. It all starts in becoming in conscious awareness and making conscious choices. And so this is what I have to offer today.